Such sweet innocence. The idea of puppy farming is something most of us are oblivious to. Obviously there are plenty of good pet stores and breeders, but what might be surprising is the commercial scale of some of those breeding operations. In Gisborne, for some reason, there's a concentration of them, and some like this seem okay. There's ample shelter, the dogs look in good condition.
Lucky, come on.
And here at Kay McKnight's property, the same applies.
She's all fluffy, aren't you? Yes, you are.
Hello, Lucky. How old is Lucky?
Lucky is just 8 weeks old and had her vaccinations yesterday.
Hello, sweetheart.
McKnight turns out about 60 puppies a year, all of which she personally handles virtually from the day they're born. It's cold outside, but the puppies have electric heating pads in clean, well-kept conditions. If this is a puppy farm, it's the kind you'd want your dog to come from. At this property, the numbers are confronting. The breeder wouldn't let us in to film, conscious that it doesn't look so good. At a rough count, we reckon there are around 100 dogs on site, and she says she has 5 or 6 litters of puppies at a time. And here down the road there are 30 breeding animals. The owner admits she wants better conditions for her dogs. After complaints from neighbours about the noise, she's relocating to the country. She admits she is a puppy farmer and that people don't like that concept. She agrees to show us her facilities, and we're surprised to see this dog tethered to a tyre, which it drags around. She explains it's necessary to prevent it jumping the fence. As we leave, she gives us a spray for our boots because of the problems she's had with the canine deadly parvovirus. And then we encounter this property. There's no one home, but given what's immediately apparent, we decide to film.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dogs in here. It's really muddy, it's quite cold here, and they haven't got any bedding or anything in their kennels, most of them. This one here has got not a single bit of grass or anything in here other than mud and a whole lot of green water. She's absolutely filthy.
There's an electric fence surrounding one of the enclosures, and inside it a dog wearing a bark limiting device, most of which work by giving the dog a small shock if it barks. They're not illegal, though some question their appropriateness.
And these ones, what have these guys got inside here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puppies. And inside there is no blanket, no bedding, just a plastic bucket. Oh goodness, oh my goodness. What's in there? Hi Mum. How's that puppy behind her? Is that puppy alive? It's not moving much. Oh no, it's breathing.
Although it does seem unwell and in need of the attention of a vet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Before we leave, we do a count of the number of dogs on the property and get to 58, including puppies, although we don't know if we've seen them all.
This is clearly a commercial scale breeding of dogs, and if that isn't a puppy farm, then what is?
The breeder returns later that day, so what does she have to say about her operation?
This is my property and you're trespassing, and I'm asking you to leave.
We have already visited your property today. And quite frankly, we were alarmed at what we saw. Do you think that this is okay?
Look, I'm not really interested in doing an interview with you, okay?
All right.
I'm asking you to leave.
Okay, we'll leave.
The breeder sells some of her puppies to the largest pet store chain in the country, Animates. After we told them what we found, their welfare manager, Nikki Marchant-Ludlow, inspected the property herself. How many dogs were on the property when you visited?
She has a maximum of 24 dogs, and those aren't all breeding dogs, so they are pets.
Were there puppies on her property when you visited?
There was 1 litter.
And what were their conditions like?
Fantastic.
What were they? Describe them for me.
As I said, they were inside in their inside pens.
With bedding?
Absolutely.
Given there's such a disparity between what she'd seen and what we filmed, we show her our footage. Nikki, is that what you saw when you went onto that property?
No, Paula, very definitely not. I'm obviously quite upset by what I've seen.
What's the difference between what you saw then and what you've just seen now?
Certainly there were no pets in small cages. They were all in appropriate runs for the number of dogs, and certainly there weren't even close to that number. You know, the electric fencing and collars are an absolute no-no, and there's a number of things that I need to go and put a plan in place, and I will be proactively working to put those steps in place and urgently.
The breeder later decided to respond to what we'd seen. She states that a number of dogs on the property belonged to another breeder who was minding them all for her while she was away for the day, and that we'd filmed at an inopportune time. A tap had been left on in one of the yards, causing flooding and forcing her to put more dogs than usual in another yard. A vet check in March found the dogs healthy and in good physical condition. We also wanted to show Animate's welfare manager footage of the dog tied to the tyre. What do you make of that?
I don't think I've even got words to describe how I feel on seeing that. You know, we want happy, healthy pets that come from a lovely environment, and I can absolutely say to you that I have never seen that before, because it goes against everything about who we are and what we do.
That breeder didn't respond. Animates has now alerted the SPCA about what we saw at both properties. And what of my puppy, my schnoodle? Remember, she's supposed to be a schnauzer poodle. Well, we've just received her DNA test results. Turns out she has almost as much West Highland White Terrier as she does poodle. She's still the same to me, but it does show that sometimes these pricey pets can be less designer, more mutt.